Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am concerned about this is broader than we've had in the past. We've said no state funds, but I don't believe we've limited federal funds, and a lot of the research, of course, is federal funded. I think that it would be really, I think it would be helpful if we could develop a consensus that we all agree that we're against reproductive cloning. This is a little too broad to just say human cloning, because, and when you're talking about any stage of development, then that also would include, I assume, the 5-day-old blastocyst. And that, with the 5-day-old blastocyst in a petri dish, it eventually, if it stays in the petri dish, it dies. If it's implanted, it can be implanted, it can take place, it can take implantation or not, and then it's flushed through the system. It can be frozen, and there are a lot of them that are frozen. It can be offered as a donor to another infertile family, which is not very often, I'm told. It can be given to research, which is what we're talking about, the potential here. And then the fifth use, they just burn like tissue. So that's what we're talking about basically here. So if it's given to research, a group of cells called a blastocyst or something like that, then there is a whole lot of therapeutic application here. And I'm really surprised. This room should be filled with people who care about curing diseases. And we're talking about diseases like Parkinson's, like diabetes. We have an epidemic of diabetes, and very, very tragic diseases like Alzheimer's. And my mother has Alzheimer's. And it's a disease where your loved one slips away from you over a 10-year period, day by day. They change, they leave you, they're no longer the same person. And my mother's already 84. There's probably not going to be a cure for Alzheimer's. But there's a potential that for our generation, well, my generation, I'm older than some of you, that there could be a cure for Alzheimer's. And there could be a cure for Parkinson's. But we can't send the message out that we're anti-research in the state of Minnesota. And by passing these kind of laws, we heard Dr. Walters the other day say he's already been approached by Stanford. We want to be the bioscience center of the Midwest. We spent millions of dollars building 5 bioscience buildings on the University of Minnesota campus. And all that effort can be just washed away by passing legislation that doesn't have enough thoughtfulness. If we could agree that we all want to ban reproductive cloning, I think that's a consensus that we all have. But why do we want to ban therapeutic cloning? Maybe cloning isn't even the right word. Just the therapeutic use of cells. And if they're your cells, they might be used someday to regenerate your liver, and you won't reject it because it's your own cells. It's for your own. Some people are already talking about freezing their cells in case they need them in the future to continue their own lives. But they can also be of benefit to other people. And I do think that if the public knew that we were having this debate and talking about this issue, this room would be filled with all those organizations that care about research, and they raise money and have their walks and their runs to raise money for research, and all that can go down the drain by one amendment. Let's not do this. Let's come up with a clear definition of reproductive cloning. We ask the university to help us with that, and not have the kind of unintended consequences that I'm fearful we're going to have with this.
Senator Lori, did you want to?
Well, I was just going to say that when we were first going over this, it was described as an extension of existing state law, and I was questioning right away, why is it a brand new paragraph all underlined? I mean, if we were, this is my first time on higher ed, but why wouldn't it just be an extension? I mean, maybe that would be another route for the author of this amendment to go that might not get such significant pushback. I mean, this does seem much broader and